Starting with one historical event. In the 90s, the Americans started to develop their drone program.
This is the Raven UAV. Weighs about 5 pounds, has a maximum operational altitude of 10,000 feet and an approximate range of 10 kilometers.
The drone program is, the aim is to take out the pilot from the airplanes so that the Americans and their allies can operate their warplanes without the fear of losing pilots. So amateurs took upon the same challenge, building small tactical units around 2005, and I got into radio-controlled aircrafts in 2007. So this is my project in Manifesta, is really presenting in one TV program the process behind my drone project. So when I decided that I wanted to learn to fly and develop my project, I decided that I wanted to do everything from scratch. I designed my own camera planes and published the drawings for free downloading. I used Depron to build most of my camera planes. Depron is a cheap insulation material used primarily in bathrooms. Most of my cameras have a pan and tilt function for filming in different angles. This plane also has an additional HD camera in its nose. Here I am approaching the heavily fortified and disputed Spanish enclave Melilla in northern Africa, probably the most militarized area in the European Union. Morocco is to the left, and the border area, visible here as parallel dark and pale lines, is to the right. On the Spanish side of the border, there are 2 lines of tall electric fences and numerous watchtowers. The high-tech surveillance system includes sensors of different types, microphones and camera systems to keep refugees out. As the land border is effectively closed, desperate people are now trying to get into Melilla by the extremely dangerous coastline. Here I am crossing the border at low altitude. I never use the autopilot function as I want to be physically steering the plane as an extension of my body. My project is partly about surveillance technology. People are used to be controlled. We are used to act in a certain matter, in a certain way, when we are confronted with surveillance technology. I want to use the technology that Americans and NATO forces, including forces from my own country, are using, deploying in Afghanistan in their occupation war, and turn this technology the other way around. So I'm using the same, basically the same technology, showing that it is possible to develop yourself, that anybody could actually do this, and turning it around. So there is also this, as far as I'm concerned, a value in that sense. Doing this project for Manifesta it felt completely right. So I didn't feel like I was forced into a situation that I otherwise wouldn't prefer to be in. So I think that this was perfectly continuity of my actual artistic process, which I believe is really important, that an art process should be organical and it shouldn't be forced, and it shouldn't be, other than that, the actual day-to-day sensual and theoretical and process of one artist working to achieve a goal which can't be defined beforehand.
Andres, thank you very much for your interesting work. I was particularly struck by the way that you sort of talked about the do-it-yourself quality in the YouTube video, and you seem to indicate that you found it very important that an artist was able to sort of make their work themselves. You talked about not wanting to outsource.
Yeah. I would require for my own art that I are in charge of the whole process, that I control the means of production. So I think that is very crucial for my work, yes.
Is that something distinct from craft?
I mean, craft is misunderstood in many ways. I think in our, if you read art theory or art magazines, art and craft is like you have this clear division. And I think that's craft, yeah, but I'm talking about craftsmanship, the notion, the term craftsmanship. If you look at my drones in my installation, they look really bad. But the craft is in actual function. It's to get them actually doing what I want them to do. So craft, yes.
One word. How would you put this function aspect? What kind of function would you say your work fulfills in order for it to be a good work?
I can't say that in one word. And
So,
I don't think it's...
I see something like that you're trying to investigate the investigators, so to speak. You're talking about CCTV.
Yeah, I'm talking about turning the camera like the other way.
No, we're trying to determine what you think this work should actually, what criteria it should fulfill. I mean,
one criteria is do it yourself. That's one. You could say that's one word. That's okay.
Let's just move on.
I regard this technology as a theatrical prop. It's a requisite. It's something. When I filmed this military installation, I've been asked by Norwegian journalists because they read a press release and they said that, is this legal? And I said, no, I haven't applied for permission to do this, and I wouldn't get it, of course, if I applied for it. But I don't think that Morocco could use my videos to invade Melilla.
What are you trying? I mean, what is the purpose of doing this?
The purpose of doing it is basically to make videos that are to a point threatening to the way, or if you can talk about something like a power structure of images, a power structure of video, releasing the kind of potential in this technology for everybody. I mean, I want to release, to participate in this liberation of our eyes. We are living in a culture where text is being challenged by images, and images is totally taking over, and I want that we should be able to move our eyes, release our eyes and move them in 3 dimensions, which is actually possible. I'm showing that.
Do you think your work needs to have information? Does it needs to transmit information? I mean, what I'm saying is that, somebody enjoys that they're very beautiful, which is an aesthetic experience. That's one level. But also, what you film, is that important?
Yeah, I mean, definitely.
And do we have access to what you film?
I think that you get access to what I film by watching the actual video footage.
So if we look at this, we should find out where this is.
In my installation, I have an explanation, which is, yeah. So in my other videos that are going to be presented quite soon in Oslo, I also have text in the video explaining exactly whereabouts.
You were talking about, you have particular kind of power structures that you're filming. Prison, military installations, these kind of configurations, which have, a sort of like architecture, And I can imagine that, when you film this from above, you're revealing a vantage point on that particular sort of configuration of power. Is that something that you're looking for?
Yeah, but it's not.
Going how high up?
Yeah, and especially in works that are not here in Manifesta, but I'm documenting, for example, my hometown of Oslo, which is extremely divided between a working class, historically working class east and an upper class west. So I'm there filming these neighborhoods and showing this social fabric from above.
So it is revealing some power structures. Do you think
and in this
criteria? Can you formulate that?
I would like to think so, yeah.
So let's get to the negative criteria.